that go into the planting process. Why do you plant? Where do you plant? What are you planting? What's the style of training, right? All of these things really matter, and I go back to the soil. The soil will tell you what you can put there and what you cannot put there, right? And sometimes, if you have enough money, you can really work around some of those issues. And so that's why you see a lot of people maybe planting and putting things that I would have said maybe that's not what's wanted there, right? So anyways, back to the soil, and that kind of goes into a little bit of our prep, which is really why we're here. I know we're all excited about that. So I wanted to just go over a little bit the core benefits as to what is this prep and why do we do it. So does anyone really have a thought of the Biodynamic Prep 500, what this prep is? Do we know a little bit about it already? Love you, Opal. You can do this. And you can do this too, Lissa.
She's upset because she doesn't know.
Yeah, she just wanted to dig, and I can't get a small enough shovel for her. So this prep, it's got, I would say, a couple different thoughts and beliefs as to, and each person will tell you something differently, right? So for us here at Hedges, we kind of have a couple key points as to what this is and why we use it. So really, it's soil activation, right? So it dramatically boosts the microbial activity, enlivening the soil, right? A lot of biodynamic practitioners talk a lot about enlivening. It's a big thing, especially with the soil. Also, root development. So this prep in specific helps drive those roots down, right? And that's already with these types of grapevines, they have a tap root, right? So they're already wanting to go down. With this soil, this is like the easiest soil to manage ever. Why? Because it's just so easy to move. So it's really easy for those roots to dig down in there, unless you have something like a caliche layer or a clay layer or something that's kind of inhibiting those roots, right? Also, humus formation. So it regularly uses and assists in forming stable humus, improving soil and the porosity of that soil. So that's essentially making sure that the soil has kind of like air pockets in it, right? That's why earthworms are badass too, because they're the ones kind of making their tunneling, they're getting air in there. Healthy soil is a live soil. Healthy soil has air in it, right? What do I do all the time in these fields? I drive up and down with the tractor. That's a lot of weight on that, right? A lot of compaction. So the more compact that soil is, the less life is there. And then when I go to seed, it's going to be super hard for me to seed in that soil that's already super compact, right? That's another one. Nutrient absorption. So this goes back into that microbial life, right? So this is activating the microbial life in that soil, and the microbes are the bridge between the nutrients in that soil and the roots, right? And they bring that together. They unlock that soil for them, and that's what's in this stuff. That there's a lot of microbial life inside that Biodynamic Prep 500. And then lastly would be water retention, right? So we're literally in a desert here, right? So water retention is something that's very, very critical and something that we need. And part of that is having more life inside that soil, having more organic matter in that soil. So again, I need to help those microbes, I need to help that soil, I need to help unlock that nutrients, and then by doing all of that and then adding in different types of biomass, different types of cover crops, then I'm kind of unlocking all of that nutrient cycle, right? And then I've got Aubrey sheep in there coming in, and then they're eating, and then they're doing what they need to do, and then they're nutrient cycling as well, right? It's a beautiful cycle, guys. So now to talk a little bit about the ingredients. So we all know what's in the cow horn, right? What's in it? You can call whatever you want. So would you guys believe how hard it was to find manure from an organic or sustainably raised cow? Almost impossible, guys. It took me almost like a year, literally, right? Shout out to Sarah. We found a dude, Gary Johnson, right? He's got like 5 cows right there in Benton City, and just the nicest dude in the world, older than the hills, just the coolest guy. And he also, when I went to him, I asked him, one of the questions I have to ask before I get manure is, what happens when the cow's sick? What happens when the animal's sick, right? And he said, I've never had a sick cow. I said, well, how long have you been doing this for? He said, 30 years. I said, what? Are you kidding me? Unbelievable, really? He said, yes, Reed, you know what? Like, what we do here in this farm is nothing. I just put the water down, they go and eat it, and then that's it. And then when it's time to butcher them, that's what we do, and we do it all right here, right? Even the butchering happens right there. All that blood, all that nutrients is going back into the soil. So I went out there with my buddy, and we collected some manure, and that was not the most fun, and we might have had some dirty boots afterwards, but we got that manure, okay? Then how do you find the cow horn? You think it'd be easy, but that was another challenging one too. Apparently there's one dude in Wisconsin, and he is the cow horn guy. I'll give you his number if you guys really want. That was pretty awesome. He's like, I got you, Reed. You know, he sent me 22 of them. We're gonna dig those 22 up right now, and that's really all that you need, right? You need the cow horn, and then you need the manure to go in there, right? And then what's happening is that's fermenting in the soil. You put that in the soil, you bury that around the fall equinox, which is what we did. Actually, WSU came out, the students came out and helped me dig this and bury this. So like now their love and their microbes are also part of this as well, which is very exciting for me that we're going to be spreading that out in the field, right? And then once you dig that up, you have to do another interesting process, because you can't just necessarily put that biodynamic prep out in the field just willy-nilly, right? It has to have a carrier. In this case, the carrier is water, right? So you cannot just put in the water and call it good. You have to dynamize that water. You have to create a vortex, and you have to do that for about an hour, which essentially means you have to stir it clockwise for a minute, and then counterclockwise the other minute, right? So none of us here at Hedges have the time or really want to do that. So we purchased, it looks like a dough mixer, but we have that up at Belle Villa, and that does our mixing for us, thank God, right? So after it's dynamized, the vortex is done. We have air in that water. We've enlivened that water. We've married them together, the biodynamic prep and the water. Then we apply it, right? When do you apply this? You apply it on a root day. What is a root day? It's kind of made up, I'll be honest with you, right? So, in biodynamics, they have fruiting days, they have rooting days, they have specific days, and essentially that is when the moon is descending, right? And so as that moon is descending, then that is also why you have the cow horn prep there as well, because that is also down, 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 right? That's going down into the ground, that's pushing those roots further into the ground as spring is coming, right? And then from there, you're basically good to go, right? You did it. But as we're about to see right now, I have a strong gut feeling that this prep is not 100% done. It's not 100% finished. I can say that because of global warming, right? Hate to say it, but it's kind of real, and we are not having these real winters. So what's happening is, in these winter months when things should be kind of shutting down and closing down, we should be getting way more rain, way more water within the soil. That is actually what helps drive this process and this fermenting process within these preps, right? So this is going to be my first time doing it here in Eastern Washington. I wanted you guys to be a part of this to see, like, is it going to work, right? So we're going to dig them up. We're going to test it ourselves. We're going to look at it. Is it working or not? What's healthy biodynamic Prep 500 look like? We're going to test it. We're going to see it. I also brought a sample for us to look at, right? So I want you guys. We're going to pass this around. This is what the biodynamic prep should be looking like when you're done, right? It's literally manure when it starts, right? And then from there, it turns to this beautiful, dark, rich color. It's like a sponge in my hand. It should have no odor. It should have a sweet smell to it, right? There should be no urine smell. There should be no manure smell. And you shouldn't really be able to find what was being eaten in that manure, right? So this is awesome. It's beautiful stuff. I'm going to pass this around for you guys to see.